The Spartan mindset meets the Bhagavad Gita, unbreakable self-belief in 3 ancient steps. Introduction. Imagine standing on a battlefield where every breath is a prayer, every step a test, and your mind a razor's edge. The Spartans, famed for their relentless discipline and unwavering courage, once vowed never to back down from a challenge. In a very different time on a different land, the warrior Arjuna struggled under the weight of doubt while listening to the timeless counsel of Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita. Though separated by continents and centuries, these 2 stories converge on a single truth. The self-belief forged in ancient practices can still shape our modern success. In the next 5 chapters, we will walk through 3 simple yet powerful steps: awakening the warrior, mastering the mind, and igniting the mission, drawing from Spartan resolve and the profound insight of the Gita. By the end, you will have a recipe to cultivate an unbreakable mental armor in your everyday life. Chapter 1, The Call of Duty, the Awakening Hero. In the late 4th century BC, a young Spartan named Leonidas was chosen to lead a small force to an overwhelming enemy. Before the battle, he gathered his men, spoke in low, intense tones, and reminded them that duty was bound to duty, and obedience to the state was higher than personal fear. His words didn't inspire romance, they activated an inner fire. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's hesitation before the great battle of Kurukshetra was met by Krishna's mantra. Karmani vadhikarast, you have only the right to act, not to the results of the action. The lesson is simple. When the world forces us to choose a path, refusing to act only multiplies uncertainty. Our self-belief forms when we commit to duty, regardless of external outcome. To apply this today, ask yourself, what role am I being called to fulfill? Identify the duty that aligns with a larger purpose, whether it's leading a project, caring for family, or learning a new skill. Once you declare your duty, commit to action without letting the fear of failure dictate your steps. Each choice you make under a clear sense of duty becomes a brick in your self-belief. Conclusion. The Spartans' cry of "We are Spartans" and Arjuna's vow to act for Dharma illustrate that the first step to an unbreakable mindset is to anchor yourself in a purposeful duty. Call to action. If this story resonated, please like, share, and subscribe so the dialogue continues. Reflective question. In what area of your life can you declare a clear duty and act without hesitation? Chapter 2, Discipline of Mind, Discipline of Body. The Spartans trained relentlessly, rising before dawn to run, practice with swords, and learn tactics that would keep their city safe. Their discipline was not merely physical. They developed mental focus by enduring hardship, sharpening their senses, and rehearsing adversity. Similarly, the Bhagavad Gita teaches that mastering the mind is fundamental. The mind, when disciplined, becomes an unfailing ally that guides action toward the ultimate goal. The sage Nala in the epic Mahabharata, who after losing everything, disciplined his mind to recover his kingdom, exemplifies this insight. Today's environment is saturated with distractions, social media notifications, endless email threads, and a culture that praises multitasking. Discipline turns the chaotic noise into purposeful noise. To cultivate this, begin with a simple routine. Set a 15-minute meditation each morning to center your thoughts. Gradually integrate mindful breathing into tasks that feel draining, turning each breath into a reset button. If a phone call interrupts your focus, take one breath, acknowledge the interruption, and then steer back. The Spartan warrior's focus on the next target is mirrored in how a disciplined mind returns to its point of intent after each distraction. Conclusion. Discipline is the invisible armor that protects your action from the corrosive influence of indecision and fear. The Spartans' rigorous regimen and the Gita's instruction to master the mind demonstrate that disciplined thought equates to disciplined action. Call to action. Share this practice with a friend and help them develop a disciplined routine. Reflective question. How many distractions could you reduce today to strengthen your focus on the task at hand? Chapter 3, Action Without Attachment. Spartan legends tell of a soldier who fought with such intensity that he became a living embodiment of purpose, yet he never clung to victory or avoidance of loss. He acted because it was duty, not because of applause. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that the wise soldier acts with detachment. When you act in alignment with your duty and release attachment to outcomes, the mind becomes clear, like a calm lake. This principle helped Arjuna transcend his fear, fighting in a way that felt natural rather than forced. The modern equivalent of non-attachment is learning to let go of the what if and the maybe. In business, a product may fail, but the lesson remains. In personal pursuits, the outcome is simply a marker, not the definition of self. To apply this, when you plan a project, delineate your objectives and desired metrics, but before you hit start, detach from the exact result. Commit the action, knowing that the process itself is valuable. After completion, review outcomes objectively, celebrate progress, but detach emotional investment from the final numbers. Conclusion: the Spartans' fearless charge and the Gita's counsel to act without attachment both illustrate the power of moving forward uninhibited by potential failure or success. The self-belief comes from knowing your action is right, regardless of external validation. Call to action: write a short note to yourself, reminding you that your worth is not tied to outcomes. Subscribe for more insights. Reflective question: what single outcome can you detach from while proceeding with an important task? Chapter 4, Resilience in Adversity. The tales of the Spartan army's final stand at Thermopylae stand as a testimony to resilience, holding one's ground against waves of thousands, believing that their sacrifice would inspire generations. This resilience is echoing the Bhagavad Gita's lesson that the spirit is unbreakable when aligned with its core mission. A famous story from the Mahabharata shows how Krishna's guidance helped young Balarama rise above personal grief, harnessing the situation into decisive action. In contemporary life, setbacks are inevitable. A setback at work, a health challenge, or a financial dip will test your resolve. To rebuild resilience, first acknowledge the pain, but then reframe the circumstance. This is a chance to learn, to grow, to refine my path. Just as the Spartans wore armor for protection and bravery, equip yourself with 3 tools: gratitude, a reminder of past victories; purpose, your why; and curiosity, a willingness to learn from the obstacle. When adversity arrives, step back, breathe, refocus on your duty, and move forward. Conclusion: resilience is not a trait that magically appears. It is cultivated through consistent practice of purpose, discipline, and detachment, just as the Spartans did in endless drills, and the Bhagavad Gita encourages the warrior to maintain unwavering focus in battle. Call to action: if you've overcome a recent challenge, leave a comment below and inspire others. Like and subscribe for more strategies. Reflective question: how can you transform a current adversity into an opportunity for growth? Chapter 5, Legacy and the Unbreakable Mind. When the Spartan king Leonidas fell, the legacy of his courage lived on, teaching future generations that one man's resolve could inspire an entire nation. The Bhagavad Gita concludes with Arjuna attaining freedom not in victory alone, but in the knowledge that his duty was fulfilled and the spirit was unshaken. Your legacy, built upon the 3 steps, duty, discipline, detachment, offers you a platform to influence others long after you are gone. As you practice each day, create a legacy journal. Record moments when you acted with purpose, moments when you mastered your mind, and moments when you let go of the outcome. Over time, patterns will emerge that reveal your unique compass. When a new person asks how you stay focused, you can answer with the lessons of Spartan resilience and the wisdom of Krishna. This shared narrative becomes a self-reinforcing cycle of belief and action. Conclusion: the Spartan's unbreakable spirit, coupled with the Gita's timeless insights, provides a blueprint for personal excellence. By committing to duty, honing discipline, and acting without attachment, you forge a mental armor that endures. Call to action: if you found value in this journey, hit the like button, share with someone you respect, and subscribe for more empowering content. Reflective question: what legacy do you hope to leave, and how will you begin shaping it today? Philosophies spotlight the Bhagavad Gita: purpose, action, and self-realization. The Bhagavad Gita, a 700-verse dialogue between Prince Arjuna and divine charioteer Krishna, is a cornerstone of Hindu philosophy that distills the wisdom of self-realization into 3 practical pillars for modern living. In simple terms, the Gita teaches that a life grounded in purpose, performed with disciplined action, and carried out with detachment from results, naturally transforms the individual into an unshakable force of will. A key figure associated with the Gita's teachings is the warrior Arjuna. He struggled with doubt and indecision before the Great War. Krishna's counsel guided him to align action with dharma, righteous duty. The lessons from Arjuna's experience are threefold. 1. Purpose as compass. Clarify your dharma before you can act with certainty. When you know why you are doing something, the external noise loses its power. In business, this translates to setting a vision that is larger than profit. In personal growth, choose a passion that sparks your heart. 2. Discipline as bridge. Discipline is not a punitive regime, but a bridge between purpose and action. Through consistent practice, the mind learns to stay on course. Think of a daily habit that aligns with your purpose. Repeat it until it becomes automatic. 3. Detachment as freedom. Detachment does not mean apathy. It means acting free from the chains of outcome anxiety. View every endeavor as a process rather than an event. Measure success by learning or progress, not by a final number. When woven into the Spartan mindset, characterized by relentless training, unwavering loyalty, and fearless endurance, the Bhagavad Gita's 3 pillars become a powerful triad. Spartans exemplified purpose, protect Sparta, disciplined daily drills, and detachment focus on duty over personal glory. By adopting the Gita's perspective, one can transform the Spartan's brute valor into a mindful, resilient, and sustainable self-belief that thrives even in the 21st century. Through this philosophy spotlight, we see that the Gita's ancient wisdom is not only compatible with but also complementary to the Spartan ethos. Both teach that true strength emerges from a heart aligned with purpose, a mind sharpened through discipline, and an action carried out without being tethered to outcome. These principles together form the cornerstone of an unbreakable self-belief that can shape careers, forge leadership, and guide life from the battlefield of inner doubt to the arena of real achievement.